So now we will need to draw the raking floor. Okay, the floor. You have two methods of doing this. Let me go to the story. Story one, and then okay, before I draw story one, I would like to put a axis between the center here. We move the eccentricity to this point, so at least at the center of this beam we should be having an axis. Okay, so let me just move the axis there. It will be useful. I don't know, but I just feel it will be useful. Okay, so F2, and then that's 250, right? 250, then enter. Okay, so exit. So now we have the axis at the center of that beam. In case we want to do anything with the beam, that will be more easier for us. Okay, so now we will draw the floor. All right, so the floor is supposed to be like a stair. Okay, so now we're just going to do a little bit of calculation, just a small calculation. So I'll put this in front view. Okay, so we can see this properly. The first question will be, how many steps will we have in this story? Okay, when I say step is the combination of riser and tread. Okay, so to know the number of steps we have to say what is the thickness we want each step to be. So I want the thickness of each step to be 400 mm. That should be the thickness of each step. So the height of this story, obviously the height of this story is 3200. So you say 3200 divided by 400 mm. 3200 mm, that's the height of the story, divided by 400 mm, which is the thickness or depth of each step. So that will give me 8 numbers. So it means that the number of steps I will have will be 8 numbers. Okay, so that is doing good. So I know the number of steps I'll be using is 8 numbers. But apart from that, I also need to know the width of the step. To know the width of the step, I'll have to know the distance from this point up till this point divided by the number. Okay, so let's measure. So that will be here up till this point. What do I have? I have 7,475. So I have 7,475 divided by that number we got, which is 8, and that will give me 934 mm. Okay, so that means the width of each step will be 934 mm. Okay, but before we do that, I would like to show you a picture. When we want to have a step, a raking floor, you have two types. You can have type 1, you can have type 2. Okay, type 1 is the one that is structurally acceptable. Type 2 is just like for modeling sake. You'll be able to model this, but it is for modeling sake. Imagine how you want to reinforce this. How will the reinforcement come? This box you are seeing, that is like the first step. They have another step connected to the bottom of this space. Okay, so how will the reinforcement come? So this is not acceptable, but you can do this. Okay, so that the reinforcement of this can go through here to this portion, then go through here like this. So when you want to reinforce it, this is how you reinforce the freestanding. Okay, so definitely this is the one we'll be using. That means step 2 will not be flushing to the bottom of step 1. It will be flushing to the center of step 1. Thereby it will be increasing the number of step 1. I don't know, maybe you are getting this. Initially the number is supposed to be 8, but now we are not dropping it like this. We are dropping it at half. So that will now increase the number by 2. So I can say now we have 16 numbers. We should be having 16 numbers. So that will now reduce the length of that one by 2. The length we're having 934, that will now reduce it by 2. So I will go back to this, and then I will start creating axis line. Okay, so I'll make the axis line to be 465 mm distance. So this first one, let's now start offsetting. So I'll offset this one. So F2 465, then enter. Then you keep doing the same thing. Enter. Okay, so the last one you can see the last one is a little bit off the point, so I'll just delete the last one. So I'll be using this as the last point. Okay, so now all we just need to do now is we have to bring in the slab. Okay, so you go to slab. So the thickness of the slab, just as we said right now, the thickness should be 400 mm. Okay, and then the cover, I'll change the cover to 30 mm. Okay, so if the thickness is 400 mm, you know, that's the last thickness, so the cover of 30 is good enough. That's a stadium, so that is why I'm having that kind of load. So enter value. The highest one is lower slab, so pick the lower slab, which is 4.81. Okay, the under the imposed load, just right click, and then you'll be picking you know, something more relatable. So public circulation area maximum, so we pick that, which is 5.0. Okay, then we start inserting the column. You can use the axis region. In the insertion method, you can use the axis region. Okay, so for this one, I think this is the right point. Okay, and then another one, here I can just change it, because I will have to change it to pick axis here, so that I can be able to select that. So I'll start by picking this axis first. Okay, then this one second, right, and then this one third, then this fourth, and then the first one, which is this. Okay, so I can have a slab over there. I will use another one, so I'll pick this one, I'll pick this, that's axis, I'll pick this, I'll pick this, and then I will pick this again. Okay, so you can see we have the slab. Okay, so now I can use the axis region back, so I'll use axis region. You know, this is easy, I can just use axis region. I'll just be dropping. Okay, so something like this, like this, like this. Okay, and like this, like this, like this. Just keep dropping them. Then one more here. Okay, so for this point, you see that it will be difficult for me to use axis region, because if I use axis region, it will just drop it here, but I want you to drop it between this axis, this grid line, and this grid line. So I have to use pick axis. So we'll use pick axis for this point, and then I'll pick this one. Okay, and then I can pick this one, and then this one, this, and this. Okay, so I have this, so I can go back to, you can take it with this. Okay, so now I will use the axis region back. Okay, so put one here, and then the last one, which is here. Okay, so that is all. So let's see how it looks like in 3D. Okay, so you can see that we have single stair, but it is on the straight line, but we want them to break. Okay, so what we are going to do is, you know, we are supposed to rake it in half. Okay, you know, the depth of each slab is 400 mm, but I want the step 2 to be at the center, to be you know, to be connected to the center of step 1. So that means I will have to move step 2 by 200. Then this one I have to move it by 200 again. You know, this is moved by 200, so if this is moved by 200, that will be by 400 again. You know, 200 and 200, that's 400. So this is on 0, this is reference level 0, this is reference level minus 200, minus 400, minus 600, minus 800, you know, like that. So we can do that. So on this story, which is story 1, make sure you're on story 1. No, story 1. Okay, so you're on story 1, then you can right click and you go to member table, then you go to slab table. You can come to the del z, you know, this del z you have. Okay, so this one, make sure it is in 0. This one you can change it to minus 200. Okay, then the next one, change it to minus 400. This one minus 600. This minus 800. This minus 1000, you know, 1000, 200 difference. So minus 12, minus 14, minus 16, minus 18, minus 2000. Okay, then minus 22, minus 2400. Okay, minus 3000 minus 2600 minus 2800. Okay, then this one minus 3000. Okay, so you can see we have the raking beam. Let me put this in 0 so that we can properly, let me put it in 0. Okay, so you can see how the slabs, you can see how the floors are raking. Okay, so this is how it will rake downward, right? So you can just, that is looking good. Okay, so what we just need to do is do more of it. We have one here, we have to do one more here, do one more here, do one more here. Okay, so to do that, go back to plan. Okay, so but it will be kind of cumbersome for us to be copying these, so all we just need to do is we have to mirror, right? So just select them like this. You can highlight, and then if you want, you can deselect, hold control, so that you can deselect the beams so that I don't get selected twice. But it does not really matter, it will not select, it will not no, it will not copy it again since it has copied it once. So right click and then say mirror, then use this as the symmetry. Okay, so click on this and then click on OK. So just wait for it to mirror, so it will mirror it to the other side, so you can keep mirroring. Okay, so you can see it has mirrored this slab up to this slab. Okay, so you can see that is very easy. So let's try to select more of them. So let's select the two together like that, and then you say mirror, and you say mirror. Okay, so use this as the angle, as the symmetry. Okay, so click on OK. So it will only mirror the slab. I did not deselect the beam, but obviously it will not mirror the beam again. It will not mirror another beam on another beam. Okay, so you can see the difference now. You can see that we have 4 now, so you can select all the 4 together. Let me do it again. Let me do it like this. Okay, make sure you use this kind of select method I'm using. There are 2 methods. You can actually do it from the bottom like this. That will select the axis and everything. This is not making sense, so you have to take it from the top. Okay, and you do it like this, so that this is making more sense. All right, so then you right click and then you say mirror, then you can use this. This is the point. This is the last point we use, so you can use this point so that I can go upward. So click on that and then say OK. Okay, so that is done. We have how many? We have 1 2 3 4. Okay, so we have 4 more to go. So let me just select 4. This is 1 2 3 4. Okay, so this is 4 slabs. You can see this is 4 panel. So let me check again. Yeah, I have 1 2 3 4. Okay, so do the same thing, mirror, and then I'll be using this here, and then click on OK. So let's do the last one. Okay, so that's looking good. We have everything completed.